Right. So there's a really fast cycle you can get on this level, and there's the normal cycle you can get on this level. The really fast one involves 6 tapping there, 6 tapping here as fast as possible, getting a perfect or one-off perfect spin dash going along here to be fast enough, really. The slope jumps that I like to do to speed up, you can do one extra one at the start there. Jumping here gives a big jump, 1 frame later than that then, gives a big jump that keeps all your speed going around there. So there we go. And then in order to jump over this red spring in a second, you want to jump off this slope about here. And then that'll slow you down enough. Oh, hopefully you don't just get completely stopped by landing there. If you jump slightly later, that happens less often. And then jumping over the slope, and then having to roll through this box. Right, let's do it all in one motion. Like that. And then jumping here. Oh. When I pause for it. Jumping there we go, there's a good slope jump. When I pause for it, it's slightly earlier, I think. And then, this is the important thing to make the really fast cycle that you don't have to do. But it saves 2 seconds, maybe 3. You do a jump in a very precise spot off of this slope here, to be up against the wall like that. And if you're coming up to a corner of ground as you're pushed against it, like this, you have like a very short window. It's not frame perfect in this case, but you have a very short window to press glide as you're level with the corner. If you're just over the corner, and instead of gliding or grabbing onto the wall, as Knuckles does, you will start running on the ground without any acceleration time, and that's what we're aiming for. There we go, like that. And with that run, you'll be able to run up. I like to go as close to the enemy as possible, just you're about to hit the enemy, jump, and that'll be a good angle for getting just in there on the cycle, like that, as the block is coming up. That's the really fast cycle anyway. But normally, go through this section, do whatever. I like to practice this even if I'm not going to make the fast cycle. Get to here. Oh, I don't know what cycle these blocks are on anymore, because I've waited like a second at the start of the level. From the level beginning, they're going to be on a certain cycle. Really, unfortunately, this is like the most awkward point in the game. Knuckles can't climb that corner. You see, if I try and climb this corner, he just falls off immediately. And that's really bad, because you don't want to fall down this gap. If you fall down this gap, it's a reset, basically. So, actually, if you make the fast cycle, you have to then immediately react by turning to the left, grabbing onto this wall, climbing up a little bit, and then jumping off over there like that, off of that wall. When Knuckles is climbing a wall, now that we've got to this for the first time, you can gain a tiny bit of extra height. It's like ridiculously tiny, optimally. If you double tap jump while climbing, you want to hold left and up, or if you're on a rightwards wall, right and up, the entire time you're climbing up, and then you want to jump while you're on the wall, and you do that little fast climb where you jump off the wall and glide back into the wall very quickly. And that saves like, I don't know, tiny handful of pixels each time, I'm not sure. For a fast climb there. You only have time to do that like once or twice while climbing up this section anyway, so you can jump off it fairly quickly to get up there. Anyway, whether you went for the fast cycle or not, if you don't go for the fast cycle, you can normally spin dash into that one and it'll be in the way fairly safely. Then jump on top of it and jump up. In order to accelerate quickly without doing a spin dash, the next fastest thing is to jump. It's slightly faster to jump than just to run right to accelerate. So jumping into this roof is usually helpful, because it's probably not worth stopping and spin dashing here. Jumping into the roof will get you to the zipper. And once you're at the zipper, I like to roll, but I don't think it matters. You can hold right through this section. And what we're aiming for is a very precise jump. Is again 1 frame window for Knuckles here. I think it's definitely more lenient for Sonic. So if you're in a running animation, you don't have to worry about jumping out of your rolling animation to become in a running animation, because if you're in a rolling animation, you can't control this jump well enough. So you have to be in a running animation coming around this loop. You want to actually slow down slightly. It helps to slow down slightly, and then you want to jump 1 frame before this in order to get up to this wall up there. because there is a slope behind this. You can see that Knuckles is walking up quite a steep slope behind this pillar. This is the slope jump we want to hit in order to get an angle up there. So that's the backup, by the way. If you miss it, then you can just go right before it again and spin dash at it and jump immediately. I do recommend going through with safe seats if you have that option, if you have an emulator version of it to practice with at least. So the other option here is I like to roll through this section. I'm not sure if it makes me faster. I think it might coming down these loops here. But then because you're rolling, you need to actually break out of a roll by jumping here on the loop. You do a loop jump, basically. That'll break you out of the roll. Then you want to slow down by holding left for a little bit up to here, and then you want to jump at that window there. Or you can, if you haven't quite got enough height because you slow down too much, you can always grab the wall by pressing A again. If you're grabbing this wall and climbing up here, you'll actually get pushed out by this thing if you're holding right. So what you want to do is wait for that door to start opening. As you're starting to climb the corner, just let go of all inputs and then it won't push you out. It won't zip you out like that. Spin dash from there, or if you've jumped straight up and for some reason you still have some momentum, it's actually better to just run up here and jump and stop on here. Or you spin dash from here, jump and stop on here. Once you get to about this point, the camera's triggered these blue blobs. You actually have to wait for them for a little bit, wait for them to go down, and then spin dash over the top of them. And you can just hold right all the way through here because you don't have a speed cap for your Knuckles. So yeah, looking for like 24s, 23s, or if you get the really fast cycle, 21 on that level, I think. Chemical Plant 2, this one's a very interesting one, because you don't have tails to open the door, if you might know on the Sonic route. So, in order to skip a massive chunk of the level, start here. You're going to need to set up a few things. So you want to start moving straight away, I mean, as with all levels, but in order to know that the cycle that these blocks on halfway through the level are again. Going to spin dash straight away. Going to try and do as fast of a spin dash as possible, so a big 6-step again. We're just going to hold right all the way through here. You can tell what speed of spin dash you've got by how high you are to the ceiling here. I know that I've got 1 frame off of a perfect spin dash here. If you get a perfect spin dash, you actually go off the top border of the window. 1 less than this will leave about a knuckles-sized gap downwards, so, and then 1 less than that will continue down. So you can know exactly what speed of spin dash you've got here. But either way, you're holding right all the way until you're about to land on the ground, switch to holding down. So you roll down this slope. And then you're looking to pause / jump if you don't want to pause on a certain place. And that place is my emulator frame advance. So I'm looking at the bottom right here, this is my visual cue. I'm waiting until I see this bit of black appear. And then, depending on what speed of spin dash you have got from the start, your window changes slightly. So, this, with a faster spin dash, your window is slightly earlier, so you want to see slightly less of this black before you begin to jump. And with a slower spin dash from the start, where you go lower, you want to wait 1 or 2 frames more, depending on just how bad your spin dash is. But any speed of spin dash will work as long as you adjust slightly. It's not a 1 frame window; it's more like a 2 frame window. Again, depending on what speed of spin dash you've gone for. But I think for a really fast spin dash, for a one-off perfect that I just got there, this one will work. This is like the first frame that you're looking for. So here I would unpause and jump and do a full jump the frame after I unpause. And I don't want to piano my jump, so this is awkward. Normally to jump the frame after unpausing, I'll press all 3 jump buttons just to make sure I get it on the frame after unpausing. But actually, if you piano your jump as Knuckles off of a downward slope like this, you'll just glide instantly, so there's a fail. So actually, you want to unpause and press 1 jump button, which is awkward, but it doesn't matter if you hit it 2 frames after unpausing this situation, because as I said, it's more like a 2 frame window. So if you do it correctly, I'm actually emulator pause at the moment, that's interesting. If you do it correctly, that was not correctly, alright, well, it's me getting confused by emulator pause. That's what's going to happen like 90% of the time as you're starting out when you don't hit the correct window for the jump there. Knuckles will go fast enough to clip through the floor and just descend. Alright, so... Oh, that's a straight jump, nice. I'll explain more about those much later on. So this is, again, 1 frame off perfect. I'm gonna pause here. This is about as late as it can work. Maybe it's a 3 frame window, actually. Or maybe it was 1 frame later than I initially thought there. But anyway, this is where we're going to try and jump, unpause and jump. You're going to hit this wall, and hopefully go into that wall. Hello, okay. This is the problem I get for not testing it frame by frame, and instead thinking I know where the position is when actually I've just got a feel for it. Get slightly lower spin dash speed. There we go, that's what we want it to look like. It's helpful to pause here because there's particular frames where you can save it if you're about to die. So you can, if you can just react to what's going on here, you can jump out of the ground and etc. and not get crushed by this door. So this is the one you want to see in order to make the first cycle that we're looking for on the yellow blocks again, halfway through this level. Knuckles will be halfway in the ground, and as soon as you hit this wall, you're going to time it so you're holding left as you land here, and that'll start you zipping. You don't want to hold left for, well, you want to hold left for slightly longer than you are actually zipping in the ground, because you need to slow down slightly in order for weird things not to happen here. If you let go of left too soon, you'll be going so fast that stuff like that will happen. Oh, I actually still made it up, basically. Knuckles was jiggling around and he actually got launched off here with far less height than normal. You can also get clipped into the wall here. You can also trigger the path switcher twice and go around this loop twice, which is how we want. You can soft lock by just clipping straight into this wall and being down in that jail area. But anyway, hold left for slightly longer than you might need to zip through all of that section. So yeah, you land here, hold left to zip. You obviously want to do that all in one motion without stopping. And then after you finish holding left for about half a second, switch to holding right, run all the way up here. Oh, this is going too fast again still. That can happen. Yeah, switch to holding right, and you'll land up at those yellow blocks that you want to make the cycle of. So there's a couple of other things that can happen here, so let's see if I can get them to happen so I can demonstrate those as well. We're doing the same thing, trying to go for the same window. Yeah, it looks like the windows are actually slightly later than I think. So once you get up here, if you're early enough, you'll be able to jump over the top of these as they're rising up here. Don't get crushed. If you're standing on top of that fourth one, you'll still get crushed. Get over and continue the rest of the level. There's two other things that can happen. If you hold left for too long to slow down too much. Oh, there we go. That's the other thing that can happen. Right. So there, you end up not zipping the ground, but still coming through the door from this direction. And in that case, you just want to start holding right immediately, and have enough speed to still just make it up this slope here. But you won't make the first cycle of these blocks. They'll be about here, and you have to wait for them to come around. You can jump on top of them, wait for them to descend on that side, and then carry on by spin dashing off there. And the one other thing that can happen. Alright, so there's also the possibility you miss going through the wall entirely, but you don't die and you're still running on here. If that happens, you want to jump off of that slope so that you land near this door, and you can actually make it through this door another way, because it's still faster to trick this door into thinking you're coming from the left side, which is what we've been doing, by the way. And the way to do that is to put it just off screen, so you're just on the right hand side of this yellow line in the floor. Do it as fast of a spin dash as you can from the spot towards the door, and then as soon as you touch the door, do two more quick one-tap spin dashes in succession. So just one taps down and jump really quickly. So that will look like this, hopefully. There we go. The door will open and allow you through, and then you want to glide to land on the ground flat. Turn around, spin dash, and then the path will be switched and you can carry on this way. You want to make sure you roll at some point while going down around that loop, then that path down there, so that the ramp launches you high enough to get up here. If you don't quite get high enough to get up here, you can't grab the wall if you've been rolling, unfortunately. So you land here, you have to grab this wall, climb up here for a while, switch sides, fly out here for a while, and then you're over here. Alright, I think that's everything apart from being crushed by the door, but I'll just explain that without... Alright, so instead of looking like this, Knuckles will be down another half position, his feet will be down here, and his head will also be in the ground, around here. And that means you're zipping deep, and instead of being out of the ground at this point over here, you'll actually still be in the ground at this point over here, and this door that is here will actually crush you instantaneously. So if you see that, so that's the reason for pausing here, just in case this happens. If you see that Knuckles is all the way in the ground, you still hold left to start zipping, but then you immediately jump out of the ground. That is not where I was intending to go. That's very, I haven't seen that before. That's nice. Nice soft one. You immediately jump out of the ground at that point, and you will, instead of being crushed by the door, just get hit by the door. Well, it's better than dying, and you can still make the second cycle of the yellow blocks by just spin dashing the same way you did if you came through there without zipping. Spin dashing from the left side of the door towards the right, all the way through the sloped loop section. Okay, that's a lot for this level. Let's get to the second half of it that I haven't even got to. The backup is far from optimal, right? Okay. So, running all the way around here, roll. You can roll as well, I like to roll actually. The angle, you have to jump off this slope. Be ready to jump off this slope, because if you overshoot it, it's really bad. It's like it's a 2 or 3 frame window here, it's not that bad. But for Knuckles, you actually want to jump quite late off the slope, because your jump height is lower, you actually want to hit the wall that will force you upwards. So you're jumping about here, actually. And that will hit that wall, and that will force you upwards to here. This is where you want to end up. If you jump too early, you will just end up in this gap. You will run along here. You want to cancel your speed with the glide immediately, turn around, spin dash back up here, and just come back up to here. But yeah, if all goes well, you can either grab the wall just before you get here. You can actually do a glide as you hit the corner to like frame perfectly start running straight away like that other, like last level. But anyway, come through here. Again, I like to roll, but it doesn't matter. I don't think. In this section, we're still holding right all the way through until you get to this section. You need to jump in the first 2 frames of landing at this point in order to make it over these steps without bumping into them. Here, piano. This is a point where you can piano your jumps because you haven't jumped beforehand. You're just running off of a ledge. So yeah, jumping as soon as you land on this spot, basically pianoing as you're about to land on this spot, will get you a jump here. Keep all your speed and continue through. To the boss. When you get here, the music will fade out. About as soon as the music fades out, you only need to wait for half a second, do a full jump towards the right of the screen. I missed my right button arrow. And then you'll land on top of him, and you can bounce all the way to victory. Shoot that. So that's the jump over there. Get to this, jump, and as you're about to hit him, it helps to let go of right, just so that you don't bounce back as far. Count to 8 once he explodes on the 8th hit, back towards the left so you don't die. And the timing for hitting the capsule, I'll just show it as the screen's scrolling over actually. It's when the screen reveals this grey here. After the black block it starts revealing grey here, and then you can do a full jump and land on the capsule as it's being revealed. Oh yeah, if you ever miss a capsule slightly with Knuckles, if you land just early on the grey here, if you jump and immediately jump again, he'll glide and run immediately onto the button. Double tap. That's slightly too fast.